Your small business is up and running on social media. Now you have to communicate and send out marketing messages to your customers. Do you do that in a formal way or an informal way? If 10 years ago it only had to be the formal way, now brands like Ryanair and Duolingo are totally breaking the norm. The question is, which style should you choose for your business? Before we get into that, make sure you're subscribed to this channel. For your business to have a tone of voice, it is extremely important. It makes you more memorable and it makes you more recognizable amongst other brands. It can even be your competitive advantage. Now, there are lots of different ways on how you can approach your communication style, just like it is in the real world. You can be a lot more formal in the real world, or you can be a lot more informal. You can try the formal way with very little words. That usually sounds like more luxurious stuff. You can check out some brands which are just using a couple of words, one sentence max on their social media posts. There are brands like that and it works very good for them. Or you can try the other formal way, which is with a lot more sentences, but that is usually reserved for brands and for companies which are really corporate. Then on the other side, on the totally different spectrum, we have brands which are using humor. Just like I have already said, Ryanair and Duolingo are examples of that, and they're using humor as much as they can. When they're posting different kinds of social media posts, when they're communicating with people on social media or even offline, they are utilizing humor as much as possible. It is really defining them right now on social media. And then another kind of way, which is pretty close to the humor one, is the one where you are following the trends. There are so many trends coming up with each day. I mean, when you just enter TikTok, you see all these different trends, and there are businesses who are following these trends. They're riding the wave and they're creating content based on the current trends. So the question is, how do you choose the best one for you? How do you choose the best one for your business? Well, it's actually pretty easy, and it's all about going back to the drawing board, going back to the first initial steps of your business and figuring out your whole ICP, or your ideal customer profile. Is your ICP aged 60 to 70 years old and they have worked in a corporate law firm for their whole life? Well, then maybe memes wouldn't be the best choice for them. Or is your ICP 20 years old and they're just now stepping into their first job? Well, I'm pretty sure that they know most of the trends on TikTok, so maybe you should be utilizing that. Whatever the case is, you need to pick one style and stick to it throughout your whole messages that you're sending out there. All your marketing messaging needs to be aligned and needs to be using the same tone of voice. Just like I already said, this will make you more memorable and this will make you more recognizable. It's not only about the marketing messages, it's also about when you're providing service to your customers. When it comes down to some kind of an issue that the customer is experiencing, are you going to handle it in an extremely formal way or are you going to do it in a more informal way? Let me tell you from experience. 5 years ago, I was working as a customer service representative for one of the biggest gaming companies out there. And there were lots of times where people came at us very angry, they had some kind of an issue, they really wanted it to be solved as soon as possible, and we had to find a way to handle the situation in a good way and then get rated with a high rating between 1 and 5. So, from what I have seen, most of the times when people were extremely formal when they were messaging, they weren't getting as high results as possible. And then when people try to be more informal, when they cracked a little joke here and there, again, very based on the situation. If the situation is extremely crucial and it's very complicated, then maybe you shouldn't be doing these kinds of jokes and stuff like that. But if the situation allows, you can be a little bit more informal. And I have seen that these were the people who got a higher customer satisfaction rating. So I hope that this video has convinced you that the marketing message you use for your business is extremely important. This is the communication style that you'll use when you're posting organically on social media, when you're running ads, and when you're doing email marketing, for example. This is something that you'll be doing throughout your whole kind of communication with your customers. But before we end the video, remember, whether it's your personal or business growth, never settle for average.